Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Creator Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So on this episode, we got another really exciting spoiler for you from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Oh my goodness, this one is just like, you see it and you're like, oh goodness, this has got to do something cool, and then actually flips over and then does something really cool, and it's a card that could definitely fit in one of my decks out there, and I am just hoping this can be budget friendly, but I'm ready to be disappointed that it won't be. Regardless, let's jump into it. Matzalantli. Nope, no idea. I don't know how that's pronounced. Let me know in the comments below. Matzalantli. Close enough. The Great Door. I'm just going to call it Great Door for now. Ledger artifact. Tap, draw a card, then discard a card. So this one is a fantastic, repeatable looting effect. And like Merfolk Looter, well, you can just tap without having to pay any mana to do so. And also, this is an artifact, so it is slightly hard to deal with than a creature, which is nice. Now, obviously, it does not stop just there, because we also have pay for, tap, transform it, Matzalantli. Close enough. The Great Door. Activate only if there are 4 or more permanent types among cards in your graveyard, which of course includes artifacts, battles, creatures, enchantments, lands, and planeswalkers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different kinds. So basically, if you hit 4 of these 6, you get to flip this. And if you do so, it flips into the core. Here we go. This basically does one thing. I was going to read transforms from it, but it already did that. Fathomless Descent. Tap, add X mana of any one color, X the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. That does not say kinds of permanent cards. That just says permanent cards. It's not types. It's literally the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Which means that this land has the potential to, well, outclass even, say, Gaia's Cradle when it comes to the amount of mana that it can produce. This is a card that is absurd, and if you can utilize it in the right way, like I might bring up Hate with one of my commanders here in a little bit that I'm excited about, you can produce absurd amounts of mana in a turn and probably go infinite, probably win if you really want to go that direction, but even if you're not going infinite, yeah, you can tap this thing for quite easily with the right build, not even trying all that hard, 20 plus mana quite easily. And again, it's one mana of any color. So yeah, there you go. Great mana fixing with it as well. And yeah, I mean, just again, on the front side, hey, still a good card, still a good, I mean, not card advantage card technically, right? But card selection. Technically, I mean, yeah, you're not going up on cards, but you are ditching cards that you don't want from your hand. And you're also replacing potentially better cards. And of course, you're setting yourself up to get those 4 permanent cards in your graveyard with this card and other effects as well that we'll talk about here in a bit. But yeah, I mean, this card just has good value as it is. And yeah, the potential upside for this card is quite absurd. Again, game-winning absurd. So yeah, there are quite a few different kinds of decks that might want to consider this one. And with that being said, I don't think this is going to be budget friendly for me, unfortunately, but it might be for you. Regardless, let's jump in and talk about some commanders that might want to consider. Matzalantli. That one, the Great Door. So first up, we've got my commander, one of my favorite decks I've ever built, my Garth One-Eye deck. And I think I built a couple of Garth decks I've shared on the channel, but the one that I play is the one where I like to get lands out that are indestructible, and then I suit them up with a ton of auras, and then I've got plenty of ways to untap those lands and just have really exciting, explosive, giant turns. And then I use Garth's ability, tap, choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from among Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus, create a copy of the chosen card, cast the copy. Yeah, I used it to cast Brain Geyser, that's the one. So yeah, being able to draw an absurd amount of cards myself and also finish opponents off with that too. And of course, there's other ways to go about it. That being said, this can be another great card and great addition to the deck because, well, first up, Garth has a great tap ability, and I love having a lot of great untap effects in the deck. Ones that can untap lands, and also ones like Hero's Follower that can untap any permanent. So you can utilize the Great Door, and yes, I'm just going to keep calling it the Great Door because I'm going to mess up on the regular name. You keep untapping the Great Door in many ways to get more and more things in your graveyard, more and more permanents in your graveyard. And once you do so, and once you flip it, you can actually utilize that land as well as a great source of mana, and maybe even the main land, essentially, that you can utilize for all those untap effects to make an absurd amount of mana to then bring Geyser and, well, win. So yeah, a lot of fun, and I am hoping that this is please going to be budget friendly so I can at least try it out with this kind of a commander. Moving on, let's talk about a self-mill commander with Sidisi Brood Tyrant. Now, I will mention, this one you kind of need to just adjust depending on the self-mill deck. It's not going to fit in every single self-mill deck because, again, you need to meet that 4 permanent type requirement to actually even transform it. That being said, Sidisi, if you've got, well, let's say maybe some planeswalkers, maybe some battles, maybe some artifacts, maybe some enchantments, and on top of those creatures, and of course you could have creatures that are also enchantments, creatures that are also artifacts, so there you go, keep that in mind, then yeah, a great mill commander to consider. Enters the battlefield or attacks mill 3, which is great. Fill your graveyard very quickly with more and more cards. Top of that, whenever one or more creature cards from your graveyard from your library, you get a 2/2 zombie. So you make an army as well. And of course, again, it does say put in your graveyard from your library. So yes, unfortunately, it's not going to help you, get it out of your hand, or sorry, tap draw, get out of your hand, discard a card with the Great Door. That's okay though. Filling your graveyard can help in a lot of other ways. There's a lot of other triggers that you can take advantage of, somewhat similar to Sidisi. But yes, again, at the end of the day, you're going to be getting a lot of things in your graveyard, having a ton of permanent cards in your graveyard, and yeah, once it's flipped, you can just go ham, just go crazy, tap for an absurd amount of mana, do a lot of crazy things. So again, self-mill decks, be careful, because yeah, you do need to meet that permanent requirement, and again, if you just have like all creatures and lands, you might not meet that, but you might if you have artifact creatures and enchantment creatures, so make sure you're keeping all of that in mind. Next up, another kind of deck that needs to be a little careful with it as well, but one that can meet that requirement absurdly quickly if built correctly. Let's talk about wheel decks, like, Nekusar the Mind Razor. A 2/4 zombie wizard for 5 mana in Grixis. Beginning of each player's draw set, they draw a card. Nice, we get extra cards, so more card selection essentially for us when we actually start looting. And then also on top of that, when our opponent draws a card, it's going to deal 1 damage to that player. So yeah, pain your opponents every single time they draw cards. And if you're wheeling, again, and by wheeling I mean discard hands, draw 7, cool. You get to refill your hands, and your opponents do as well, and then they take a bunch of damage. But also, again, you are discarding a lot of cards in your graveyard, setting yourself up for the Great Door to then flip, to then tap for a ton of mana, to then cast wheel after wheel after wheel. So yeah, you can do a lot of crazy things. Again, it's gotta be for the right wheel deck. Some wheel decks out there are mostly instant sorceries, so that doesn't help you flip it. Make sure you're keeping that in mind, though, okay? Moving on, how about another commander that combines card selection, discarding, as well as an ability that would love to be untapped? Shorikai Genesis Engine. I love this commander. 8/8 legendary artifact vehicle that can be your commander for 4 mana in Azorius. Pay 1 tap, draw 2, discard a single card, make a 1/1 pilot that can help crew vehicles, as if its power were 2 or greater, and it's got crew 8. So this one is basically a great draw engine for you, even if it's not, actually crewed. So if it's just a plain artifact essentially in play that you can pay 1 and 2 tap, draw a discard, make some tokens, lovely. Get more and more things in your graveyard. And again, this is a fantastic tap ability. So yeah, just utilize untap effects to untap this again and again and again. Utilize it. And of course, if you've got ones that can untap multiple things, like say all artifacts, all permanents, like, or all non-land permanents, I should say, like Dramatic Reversal, sure, you get some extra untap from the Great Door, filling your graveyard with more and more permanents, and then being able to flip it and utilize it. And again, yes, like I talked about my Garth deck, untap it as well, so you can utilize a ton of fantastic mana to do a lot of crazy things. So again, a commander that specifically has a great tap ability, like, Garth, this one, whatever kind of a commander, if you've got a lot of untap effects, especially if you have a lot of permanents with untap effects, make sure you're keeping that in mind. And finally, one that combines that with another aspect of this brand new card, the Great Door. Again, I'm not going to attempt the name. Let's talk about Captain Sisay, a 2/2 human soldier for 4 in Selesnya. Tap, search live for a legendary card, reveal, put your hand, then shuffle. Yeah, this card again, the Great Door, is legendary, which means that Sisay absolutely loves it because Sisay can go tutor for it. And again, that is a tap ability. And with this kind of a commander, yeah, you probably have a lot of fantastic untap effects. So you can keep, going, getting the right card that you need. And then, yeah, you get that into play, and then maybe you have some ways to untap the Great Door. Do it again and again and again. Fill your graveyard with permanents, and then flip it, and then tap for a ton of mana, and then untap it, and tap this, and then, do a lot of other things. Search for an amazing card. There's a lot of crazy things that you can do with a card like this as your commander. Again, a tutor commander that can go get the perfect legendary card. And again, we are getting an absurd amount of legendary cards each and every single year now. So yeah, make sure you're utilizing them to their fullest and doing a lot of crazy good things with this commander and the Great Door. But now this episode is coming to a close, it's time for me to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts are on this brand new card. What kinds of decks would you play it in? Are you excited about it as well? What kind of potential do you think it has? What kind of synergies do you think it has? So let me know in the comments below. I'm quite excited about it. And fingers crossed, please, please, please let it be budget friendly so I can try it out in my Garth deck as well. And with all that said though, well, make sure you're staying tuned to this channel for more exciting quick takes and spoilers coming out. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.